Do you have something that you truly, relentlessly desire? Despite your state of life, is there something else that you'd go completely to the end of the world to get? Well, lucky for you, there's a way to achieve what you're looking for, and you don't have to go to the end of the world to get it. But you will need to go somewhere, and that place may be too far out of reach for some. It's not far away, closer than one may believe, but there's requirements that some individuals may not possess. First, whatever it is that you seek, know that you must seriously desire what you want. In your eyes, it should be something you need. If you begin this journey without the correct state of mind, you will surely fail, as it will be near impossible to turn back once the journey starts. The second requirement is that you need a vehicle of a sort. Most use a car, as it gives them a false sense feeling of protection, which may be what gets you through. There have been a select few that have used small motorized vehicles, such an ATV motorcycle, but this is proven quite difficult, as the conditions of this journey can prove that too bothersome even during its early stages. Do not use a vehicle that is too large or noticeable, as you will need some of the cover of night to be most safe. Also, with any sort of car will do, you may not want to choose the most expensive or cherished vehicle. You can take your slick new black Mercedes for a drive if you like, but don't expect it to come out in a pristine state. Make sure your vehicle is completely fueled before beginning the drive. The first task to accomplish is to locate the road. It doesn't have a name, it's not on a map, and technically, it does not even exist. It will only show up for those if you're looking for it at the right time, and you will only spot it if you know what you're looking for. Finally, you must be alone during the journey. You didn't think you would be able to go with a group, did you? It must be night when you begin. Choose the time of night where you believe the roads are the least populated. Drive to any area that's just a stretch of road surrounded by woods. Here's where you want to start paying close attention. If you're looking for the road, it will turn up eventually, but you need to search for the road's hints in order to pull down the right one. Once you're close, you will feel or see the signs, but what signs will appear depend on what you desire. For example, if you're in search of wealth, you may spot shimmers on empty branches of trees as they resemble the shine of gold or diamonds. If you seek love, you may begin to see rose petals slowly dance in the light breeze, blowing in the road's direction. If you seek revenge, you might sense an overwhelming feeling of heat or anger in your body as you approach. Just know what it is you really want, and you'll have no problem finding the turn. Once you're sure you've found the revealed road, take a deep breath and turn down onto it. At this point, you have officially started down the nameless road, which brings you through the 11 miles, leading to whatever it is you seek. Each mile will test your desire, and will expose if you really want what you're searching for. Before you go any further, stop the car and beware of a few warnings. Do not turn on the radio during the drive. Do not use a phone during the drive. Reception will be cut off anyway. Do not open a window during the drive. Make sure that they are closed before you continue. If you are riding a vehicle without windows or top, then prepare for the worst, as the odds are heavily against you. Do not attempt to leave your vehicle at any time. You'll never want to exceed 30 miles per hour, unless you're desperate to make it through the section of the road. And most importantly, as with any drive, buckle up. On the first mile, you won't see much change. The road passes through mostly woods, with a few miles being an exception. The air will turn a bit colder, in which you should turn on your heating system if the vehicle has one. You won't want to take your eyes off the road later. Take some time to calm any uneasiness by admiring the night of the sky. You'll see it completely lined with stars, more than you would ever believe possible. If the weather was cloudy beforehand, you'll notice that the sky is now clear. On the second mile, the air will become even colder. This is primarily the reason why traveling with an open vehicle is difficult. With each mile, the air will drop in a temperature even if the season should be warm. If the air is too cold to bear, even with the heat on, your only option is to speed up. With each mile, the road will become more complex, taking turns and showing an increased amount of road hazards. Be sure to always keep focused on the road in front of you in order to avoid as many bumps or obstacles as possible. Hitting a few rocks and potholes won't dampen your progress too much, but if you want to keep in the best condition for as long as possible. If your vehicle is forced to stop because of damage, then there's nothing left you can do but eventually freeze to death. On the 3rd mile, you will begin to spot silhouettes of human figures in the lining of the trees. Pay no attention to them, even if they seem to get closer. It would be hard to resist peeking at their unnerving, distant appearance, but know that they will reveal themselves later. At this mile, the road will become dirt if it weren't driving on it in the beginning. Keep to the center of the path, as it will become narrow and wide at random intervals. On the quick side note, should you ever turn around, despite the previous warnings, you'll be left on a path which never ends. You will simply run out of fuel eventually, and be left to freeze in the cold conditions. On the 4th mile, you will not only see more of the figures, but you will begin, in a sense, hear them. In the back of your mind, a very faint, unintelligible whisper will echo. These will come and go, but you can't stop them. If they become bothersome or distracting, try to tune them out by thinking of what it is you desire. Attempting to listen and determine what the voices are saying will only attract them to you, and you want to be far away from them as you can. They'll be closer later, so there's no use bringing them near you this early. On the 5th mile, you will come into a clearing. The lining of the trees to your left will disappear, to reveal a lake with no end, with a beaming, great moon over the water. The illumination from the moon will be so spectacular that the vehicle's headlights would no longer be required. If you look at this light for even more than a few seconds, the road in front of you will end, throwing your vehicle into the water, which will freeze you in mere minutes. The voices will be gone for this mile, but do not rejoice yet. They'll be back. On the 6th mile, take into account that you're more than halfway done. Despite the progress, you may lose hope here. The stars have disappeared at this point, leaving the sky an empty, black abyss. The only light you will have will be provided by your vehicle's headlights, but they will flicker from time to time, even if you're sure they are perfectly working order. If you have a radio in the vehicle, it will turn on here automatically. If you didn't turn it off beforehand, it will produce an overwhelming screech that will send you off the path. A calm voice will then begin to speak about the greatest fears, what it is you horror in your life. It will speak in a way that will cause you to visualize its words in your mind, so don't listen to it. If you begin to comprehend what it's saying, the horrors will prove too much for you to stay on the road safely. Attempting to turn off the radio will prove no use. Speed up if you need to, just keep your mind off the voice as much as you can. As you approach the end of the mile, the voice will fade out of the speakers, leaving your ears at peace, for now. On the 7th mile, the voices from the figures will return. It won't sound like whispers this time, but more like distant screams, growing closer with each second. At some point on this mile, you'll hear one of them in your ear, as if one of them were right behind you. This is because one of the figures has found your way into your vehicle. Do not turn around. Their faces will shock you to a paralysis, leading you off the road. If you do not draw attention to it, it will become uninterested and hopefully leave. These beings are said to be the ones who had traveled down this road before, but were not successful. They live the remainder of their existence suffering in the darkness, with their only goal being to bring other travelers down with them. From experience, that these beings cannot physically harm you, as long as they do not cause you to wreck, you should be fine. On the 8th mile, slow down if you're going too fast. The road here takes very sharp turns, which if overshot, will lead the vehicle into a pit through the trees. The cold is near fatal here. If you were to have glass or bottled liquid in your vehicle, it would be solid in seconds. The heating system will have become obsolete. Your headlights will flicker more, sometimes shutting off for a few seconds. You should brake if this happens, but do not stop completely. The figures will be following you at this point, and you should not stop for too long. They will surround you and trap your vehicle. More of their screams can be heard from outside your door, sometimes even sounding of maniacal laughter. Their hands will claw at your windows, desperately to reach in and feel something living. Do not look at them. They won't block your windshield, and the last thing you want to happen is to crash and be trapped with them. If you do not make it from here, pray it is the freezing that ends you. On the 9th mile, your vehicle will stall. The headlights will shut off, as will all other systems inside. There's nothing you can do to prevent this. What you will need to do is close your eyes and immediately attempt to restart the vehicle. Keep your eyes closed, as the figures will have surely surrounded you at this point. The starting of the vehicle will frighten them, and they will back away temporarily. This will give you a chance to start moving again. If you begin to hear the windows crack from the struggle, do not lose focus. The beings can alter the vehicle, but remember that they still do not have the strength to physically affect you. You will hear nothing but the voices rampage in your mind, as there could be anywhere between a dozen to 100 after you now. Once the vehicle starts, floor it so long as you can stay on the path. Once the mile is done, the beings will retreat. On the 10th mile, the voices of the beings will stop. If you were looking in your rearview mirror, do not actually do this. You will see them following you, but not as if they were chasing. They're watching you as if they're seeing you off. As you go down the 10th mile, the road will be smoother as if you were back on the 1st mile. The figures will be lining the sides of the path ahead of you. They won't be after you, but they will watch you as you pass. Some have theorized that the beings are impressed here, that you have come a long way on your journey to what you desire. This is false. They are not impressed, but they are happy. They are happy you are about to approach the next mile. They are happy because you are most likely going to your death. On the 11th and final mile, everything in your vehicle will lose power as it did on the 9th mile. The vehicle would normally be immobile, but you will still be moving. In the darkness, you will see a growing red light up ahead, as if it were a light at the end of the tunnel. Close your eyes and cover them. Do whatever it takes to make sure you do not see what you're about to go through. Covering your ears would also be helpful, but keeping your eyes covered should be the higher priority. The red light is another clearing, but there's no moon or lake this time. Once entered, unrelenting and inconceivable voices will be sound from all directions. No amount of bravery or conditioning will spare you from these sounds. The cold will turn into a merciless heat, burning all parts of the vehicle. You will feel the illusion of the flesh being burned off your bones, that every part of you is being destroyed as you travel through the screams and audible suffering. As long as you keep your eyes closed and resist the urge to see where you are, you will survive through the suffering. This will last a total of 31 seconds, but many fail to keep their vision closed during that time and are left to the worst fate of the road. Where is this mile located? Those who have survived do not know. Some have named it the transmission from hell, but whether it's part of hell is debatable. After the final mile, power will return to your car. Stop the vehicle. Take a moment to possibly regain some of your sanity. Let the screaming in your ears begin to fade, and know that you are nearly completed to your journey with the hardest task overcome. Breathe and begin to drive forward once again. After only a kilometer, your vehicle will arrive at a dead end. Nothing will happen right this second, but do not be disappointed. Relax and close your eyes. Imagine in your mind what it is you desired this entire time. It will most likely still be the same as when you entered, but with some, the desire may actually change through making this journey. Think about what it is you went through such terrifying and difficult means to acquire, and imagine possessing it in your hands. Once you've completely visualized this, slowly open your eyes. You will then find yourself at the beginning of the unnamed road where you first began. This may confuse you, but know that you are finished. Your task is done. Your mind will then turn toward reward. If what you desired was material, check in the back seat or the trunk if the object is large. If the object was small enough, it may already be in your pocket. If what you desired was non-material, then do not be disappointed if the change was not immediate. Turn back where you came from and you will find in your life that what you wanted is there. You may have found the love of your dreams. You may have gained unnatural, unimaginable power. You may have put your most hated enemy into the most satisfying revenge possible. You will have no doubt gain what you deserve. So, now that the task is done, what's the catch? Is your vehicle cursed? Is there something you're about to lose? Is your death imminent? The answer to all is no, of course. You have done the challenge. You proved worthy of what you desire. And stated before, the sounds of the 11th mile will continue to exist in your mind, potentially causing you to have vivid and unusual nightmares, but these should prove as nothing compared to what you gained. Now, one last question. Is there something else you desire? Are you not satisfied yet? After all, you're left right back where you started. The road's right in front of you. So are you up for another drive? If so, buckle up and just move forward.